Want to see what a 3,000 square foot humidor looks like? Follow me. So Tyler, there are a lot of cigars in here. Just how many do you think we have?
You know, that's hard to say, man. At any given time, this is going to change, but I would say roughly 200,000 cigars.
Wow. How many lines do you think we carry in here?
You know, that's interesting. I would say across the board, we're probably talking about 120 different lines with the intent to always grow.
With this many cigars in the room, how do we ensure that they're properly humidified for the customers?
Well, we have a state-of-the-art system, so it's always going to regulate an appropriate amount of humidity, appropriate amount of temperature to make sure all the product is protected. Because the way we see it is the manufacturers and the companies that we're dealing with, the things that you can see in this room, they put a lot of love and effort and passion into their product for the consumer to enjoy. Yeah. So we also share that love and passion as well. So we want to make sure that we're matching that energy that they give, and we want to make sure that you get the cigars at an appropriate pace and appropriate humidity and very well packaged.
Okay, well, once it leaves this room, what steps do we take to ensure that the customer receives it that way?
So when you are placing your order online, one of our wonderful employees is going to come through here. They're going to find that cigar somewhere in this room, wherever it's going to be. They're going to pack all of these cigars in some plastic containers here. Every package is going to come with a Boveda pack to ensure that the consistent level of humidity from this room now goes into your package to your front door.
Not every customer has a 30,000 square foot humidor at home. What steps should they take to ensure that their cigars are properly humidified?
Well, if I'm under the assumption that you have a humidor at your home, obviously not this large, the best step is to make sure your humidor is seasoned correctly and humidified properly. When it comes to humidification, it's honestly very subjective. Me personally, I like my cigars in that 62-65% range.
Wow.
I would say the standard is going to be 69-70.
Right.
But honestly, it is up to you at that point. It's your cigars, your hard-earned money. How you take care of them is how you take care of them.
So what are some of the top-selling brands on the website?
Well, I would say currently Arturo Fuente is going to be at the top of that list. If anything is synonymous with the Dominican Republic and when it comes to tobacco, yeah, your mind is always going to gear towards Arturo Fuente. Next to that, you have brands like Padron, which in my opinion is the Nicaraguan version of Fuente when it comes to that lineage style of cigar. You can't forget Tatuaje, you can't forget My Father and Oliva. That's some of our best-selling brands currently.
Do you have any recommendations for customers who are fans of these great brands that might be under the radar to them?
Sure. My best advice is always check out the selection that we have online, and you're going to find a ton of stuff that maybe you've never heard of yet. But if you're in that vein of something Dominican, I would recommend a brand called Blackbird Cigars. If you want something in that Nicaraguan vein, Romacraft Cigars is a great company. Black Label Trading Company is also a great cigar brand to check out. Warped, I mean, I could go on and on about a massive selection that we have that people just maybe aren't in their radar wheelhouse quite yet.
Yeah. What's one of your favorites or ones that you're most excited about right now?
I would have to say a current favorite of mine is the brand Romacraft. Everything that they make just really checks all the marks that I personally look for in my taste and my palate.
So let's have a little fun.
All right.
I'm sure any customer walking around a humidor of this size would want to know, what's the most expensive cigar you have in here?
Well, you know, funny enough, I got it right here. This is the C8 limited edition by Cohiba.
Wow.
Quite expensive.
I'm sure. Well, I think that just about covers everything in here. Thank you so much for showing us around, Tyler, and thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to check out everything on smokingpipes.com. We'll see you next time.
Now get out.